Good evening. Welcome to the business meeting for Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay, Lee, can you take a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilman Scaringi?
Present.
Councilwoman Resnetti?
Present.
Councilwoman Riley?
Present.
Councilwoman Friedman?
Present.
Councilman Burns?
Present.
Councilman Strawn?
Present.
And President Scanlon?
Present.
That's all 7 here.
Thank you, Lee. Okay, on the approval of minutes, Councilman Strawn, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask council for unanimous approval of the minutes from the November 4th, 2020 business meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Who seconded
Does anyone-
that? Only if you did
Second.
So we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Let's get into the public comment section. You have 5 minutes to speak. Please be respectful. And Lee, do we have any correspondence?
No, there was no letters or emails sent to the clerk's office prior to the meeting.
Okay, Lee, go ahead and give the phone number then, please.
Okay, the number tonight to call in is area code 607-772-7101 if you'd like to participate in public comment. Hi, you're here for public comment? Okay, what's your name and address? Okay, I'll put you on speaker. Okay, this is John Solak. He lives on Lathrop Street.
Okay, here I am. Got a question about this amnesty on the parking fines. I know it's been done before, but you assess a penalty. And the reason that you assess a penalty is so that good citizens that want to honor their obligations don't incur the penalty. Now, essentially, you're removing the penalty. I can't find anything in the city charter that would allow the mayor to give amnesty, even if it's approved to council on obligations that are owed to the city. How would you feel if you paid a penalty on parking tickets this year? Would you think that was very fair, honest government? Either you have a penalty or you don't. If you want to remove the penalty, that's fine. Perhaps you could remove the penalty and charge it with the truth in lending law. But seriously, this is no way to run a city. Having different rules.
Mr. Solak, excuse me.
Would have
Somebody mute their, can everybody mute their phones, please? Mute the computer, thank you.
A refund because they have not been treated equally under the law. Now, you all take an oath of office, and it's interesting because we've seen this city government get tied up in all kinds of abstractions and tangents. And the city charter gives you the authority to do what you do, your domain in charge, and it limits your function in the city. It limits the mayor's function in the city. It's interesting to me how politicians, when they yuck it up, want to convince the public that they have authority that they don't have. Nothing wrong with saying I don't have authority in that, whether it's a city issue or not. So we see this sort of this idea of community, that we can run this city like it's a club. And I note with interest that Mr. Abdelazim has a conflict of interest, and he calls all the time about transparency and conflicts. And one of the things that I find interesting and rather galling is that he sits on the board of the Broome County Land Bank while he is promoting his own land trust. I ask you this, is the problem in the city today the fact that there's not enough property off the tax rolls? Is that the problem, that there's too much property on the tax rolls and it has to go off? This doesn't make common sense to me, that the mayor would build housing for low-income people, 7 city lots, people that didn't pay the taxes, foreclose on them, and then put a project that will generate absolutely nothing for the city and the school district. So why are you doing this? Why do you continue to hollow out the city's tax base and cost everybody else more money? This is not wise. This city is deeply in debt. The mayor on the Mets, the mayor said on the radio that something like baseball was safe for generations. Now we know this isn't true. And anybody that thinks that this city or this country is going back to normal, whatever that was, is dead wrong. It's not coming back on any level until the authoritarian governments, the people that are telling you
have 1 minute.
masks and stay safe, are put in their place by the citizens. I'm for Thanksgiving. I'm for Christmas. I'm for all of you having your grandchildren and your children around the dinner table, all the relatives that you only see once in a while that maybe you can't stand. I want all those people to come into the city and have a good time. I don't think it's the purview of Governor Cuomo or any elected official to cancel Thanksgiving and cancel Christmas. Let's open up Binghamton. Let's open up Broome County. Let's err on the side of common sense and let people get their dignity and their livelihoods back. Thank you.
Thank you. That number again to call in is 772-7101. Hi, you're here for public comment. What is your full name and address? Okay. Put you through. Okay, this is Tariq Abdelazim from Tremont Ave.
On June 12th, Governor Cuomo issued an executive order requiring each local government in the state with a paid police department to adopt a policing reform plan by April 1st, 2021. On June 15th, Mayor David was quick to respond, explaining to Bob Joseph on WNBF that a coalition will soon be named to start reviewing policies and procedures in compliance with the order. Yet 5 months later, there is still no panel. Mayor David hasn't even publicly named his panel appointments. Mayor David's delays have turned this entire process into a farce. There is no chance to have a meaningful, inclusive discussion about community safety reforms and still meet the deadline of April 1st. The governor in August released a 139-page guidance booklet as a resource to help the approximately 500 local jurisdictions meet the requirements of his order. There's a timeline in there, a suggested timeline. August and September plan, September and October do listening and learning, November, December draft initial proposals, January public comment, February, March revise and ratify. Let me repeat, we are closing in on December with the holiday season quickly approaching, and Binghamton Mayor Rich David hasn't even named the members of his panel. Start with the deadline of April 1st and work backwards. You all need to ratify this. Your last meeting in March is March 17th. Let's assume you organize a special meeting at the end of the month. So you meet on March 29th to approve the plan. The guidance booklet requires the draft plan to be released for public review and public comment. Local communities are encouraged to find creative multiple ways to explain the draft document to the public and to invite feedback, particularly given the likely restrictions imposed by COVID. The state also encourages local panels to actually revise and improve the plan based on public feedback. So let's say it's fair to assume the draft plan will need to be released around March 1st. Well, if the draft plan needs to be released by March 1st and the plan needs to be written 2 weeks prior, that means this panel will have all but 3 months to carry out an incredibly difficult but important task, and that's if the mayor names the panel and hosts the first meeting in the next 2 weeks. So up to 3 months to convene diverse stakeholders, be inclusive with the community about difficult but necessary conversations about substantive reforms to a policing system that is stubborn to change is both a joke and a shame, and the burden and that failure falls at Mayor David's feet. Consider some of the suggested items included in the guidance booklet that all local police reform panels should engage and discuss. What functions should the police perform? Could shifting resources to investments in people and places actually increase crime prevention? With plenty of examples under both of those questions of changes municipalities have already made to improve community safety. Should law enforcement have a presence in schools? How does the police engage in crowd control? Are SWAT teams overused? What data is being collected by the department? What does it suggest? Where are their problems? What strategies can be explored and implemented to reduce racial disparities? Given examples like restorative justice programs, diversion programs, community outreach. How does the community have oversight over police actions? Again, what extent is appropriate? Different examples. Citizen review boards, independent inspector generals. There's questions about recruitment, hiring, training, and so much more. Whoever will be named to this panel, Mayor David's delays have already set them up for failure. Having no more than 3 months to engage some of those hefty questions above, each of them worthy of multiple meetings and community listening sessions, renders this whole exercise meaningless. This narrow timeline makes honest conversation impossible. It makes listening impossible. It makes trust building and consensus building impossible. It makes meeting the moment impossible. If you look at a quick Google scan, in fact, his counterparts all across the state have taken this challenge far more seriously. Utica Mayor Robert Palmieri announced his police reform panel appointments at the end of August. Buffalo Mayor Brown announced his reform panel appointments in early September. Mayor Walsh in Syracuse has been active on this issue since taking office in 2018. He's unveiled a dedicated website to increase transparency and allow the community to monitor progress. Albany is the valedictorian of the class. The website, they've been meeting since August. The website includes member bios, calendar of events, recordings of meetings, presentations. Schenectady's police reform panel announced 9 community meetings, virtual, between October 21st and November 12th as part of its commitment to inclusion and listening. So rather than pretend that the panel can take this challenge seriously in such a short period of time, Mayor David should just admit the mistake. He should appeal to the governor for an extension. He should say, we'd rather get this right than meet some arbitrary deadline. September 1st seems about right, because without the extension, this is already a failure. Everything between now and April 1st will be theater, but I'm starting to think maybe that was the point all along. Thank you.
Thank you. That number again to call in is 772-710.
Will you repeat it, Lee? Thanks.
The number again is 772-7101. Hi, you're here for public comment? Okay, what's your name and address? I'll say it for you, but hold on, I'll put you on speaker. Okay, this is Tina Chronopoulos. She lives on Laurel Ave.
Hi, good evening. I appreciate one of the previous callers' points about Binghamton City being akin to some kind of club. It's hard to not see that happening from where I sit. I would like to address you on also the Executive Order 203 issued by the governor on June 12, 2020, called the New York State Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative, The governor's plan requires that the process be collaborative and should do the following. Review the needs of the community served by the police and evaluate the police's current policies and practices. Establish policies that allow police to effectively and safely perform their duties. Involve the entire community in the discussion. Develop policy recommendations resulting from this review and offer the plan for public comment. What has happened in Binghamton so far? We learned from a previous caller that Mayor David in June said that he put a coalition back together, but so far nothing has happened. I have not been able to find information anywhere that delineates what an interested person needs to submit, nor have I seen a deadline posted. Do we need to submit a resume? Are you looking for a longer statement of interest? What are you looking for at all? Who even is eligible to apply? The mayor's office hasn't told us. I have sent several emails to the mayor expressing my interest to be included in June and July and did not receive an acknowledgement or response. My council person, whom I copied on the message, has also ignored me. I have phoned the mayor's office several times and have either been told that my interest has been recorded or that the coalition hasn't yet been formed because the deadline isn't until April, and since it's only August at the time, there is no rush. When I phoned again today, I was told someone would phone back. Unless my phone is broken, which is possible, I guess, I haven't received a call back. Perhaps someone will phone me later. I doubt it. An endeavor of this kind requires many meetings in order to come up with a plan that is actually feasible. On top of that, you're also supposed to solicit input from the public, both while you put the plan together and once you've finished it. From where I sit, it's looking like the mayor, I don't know, is either not taking this seriously or trying to make this coalition go your way. Neither of which is in the spirit of the governor's order, reeks of the kind of ignominious behavior some of you seem to be partial to. I'm very concerned about what's happening or not happening for a number of reasons. One, the mayor and some council members have a tendency to do things behind closed doors, out of the view of the public who elected you and who have a right to know what you are doing and how you are doing it. Two, if the process is not transparent, how do we know what your criteria were for selecting folks? Are you cherry picking yes women and yes men who will fall in line with your beliefs? I wouldn't be surprised if you've decided that I must under no circumstances be acknowledged or included, regardless of my insights or experiences, seeing that you're keeping tabs on me. Three, even if you've already put together a coalition, how can we possibly trust you to really take into account what people in this community want and need when you so very clearly and demonstrably don't care about our views? May I remind you of your Mitch McConnell-like handling of public comment for the city budget only 3 weeks ago, when you basically decided on party lines that you don't give a single hoot about our opinions by immediately voting no on the mere possibility of discussing some items in the budget. Let me be clear. I and others see what you are doing. You are using divisive language, sometimes even racist dog whistles, to whip up the public and paint a picture here of a community that is divided the way the Republicans view the world, which is basically we are better and we know best. When in reality, calls for greater accountability in our city's government, not least the police, are coming from a broad coalition of folks in town, a coalition of folks that cares about what their fellow human beings, whatever their race, class, or gender, that they do well. In other words, you and the mayor are denying our and their realities for the sake of upholding your singular view of the world, which smacks of white supremacy and elitism.
1 minute.
I call on you to step up to the plate of governing, which in its root meaning, as I told you last time, includes the idea of collaboration, and help us to set up a coalition that is truly representative of the community and do so in a transparent way. And I call on you to stop hiding behind your pious statements of saying how you are so open-minded and welcoming of different opinions, when in reality you are only interested in doing what serves those in Binghamton who are white, who own businesses, or who own property. It would be good for all of us if you could start showing some empathy and concern for those who are different from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that number again to call in is 772-7101. Again, that number is 772-7101.
Lee, we'll give another minute here.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and close the public comment section of the meeting. Let's move on to the preferred agenda. Would anybody like anything removed from the preferred agenda?
Yes, this is Councilwoman Friedman.
Yes.
I would like to remove, oops, sorry. Introductory ordinance 20-99, please, from the preferred agenda.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there a second on that?
She doesn't need a second. She could just remove it.
That's correct. So it'll
Okay.
go on first read.
All right, that's fine. We'll remove that. But anybody like anything else removed from the preferred agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Introductory ordinance 20-100, considered in finance, Councilman Strawn.
Actually, I can read these off if you want.
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead, Lee. Go ahead.
So the first item on the preferred agenda is introductory ordinance 20-100, considered in Special Studies Rules and Procedures Committee. This is
Councilwoman Friedman. Sorry, there's something in the background that we can't hear you. It sounds like a clicking noise.
Okay. If everyone could stay muted unless you're speaking, that'd be great. Okay.
Okay, that's better how it is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so first item tonight is introductory ordinance 20-100, considered in Special Studies Rules and Procedures. And this is an ordinance to provide a one-time amnesty program to assist in the collection of parking ticket fines prior to November 25th, 2020.
Comments or
Comments on
questions
that?
on that?
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, Lee, move on, please.
Okay. The next item on the preferred agenda is introductory resolution 20-106, considered in the MPA committee. And this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Frito-Lay Incorporated for emergency confined space rescue.
Questions or comments on this? Okay, Lee, move on.
Okay. And then the last item on the preferred agenda is introductory resolution 20-107, considered in finance. This is a resolution to amend permanent resolution 20-72 and 20-75 to adjust the existing contract line items.
Questions or comments on this? Okay, Lee, can you make a roll call on the preferred agenda, please?
Yes, we need a motion to approve the preferred agenda.
So moved.
So moved. I'll
And a
second.
second? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Lee, go ahead, please.
All right. Councilman Scaringi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Resnetti,
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley,
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman,
Aye.
Councilman Burns,
Aye.
Councilman Strawn,
Aye.
President Scanlon.
Aye.
That's 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, on to the non-preferred agenda. Introductory ordinance 20-99, consider finance, Councilman Strawn, please.
It's actually
Actually,
considered.
it's in rules, special rules.
I'm sorry.
That's with Councilman Scaringi.
Mr. President,
my pen is wrong. Go ahead.
Mr. President, I stand and ask for unanimous consideration for introductory ordinance 20-99, an ordinance to amend the city code of Binghamton, chapter 26, city council, article 1, meeting section 26-1, regular meetings.
Second.
Questions or comments? Go ahead. Questions or comments on this?
Yes, this is Councilwoman Friedman.
Yes, Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. It feels kind of funny to, remove something from the preferred agenda, and then, normally when I vote against things, it's because I feel very strongly about them. I just want to say that this is a preference. I would prefer to keep the meetings at 6:30 just because I like the extra time after work to kind of settle in. But I understand that, a half-hour difference, that's okay. If everyone else would prefer the meetings at 6 o'clock, obviously we'll vote and, we'll change the meetings until 6 o'clock. But I just wanted to just say that before I voted no. It seems very official and like a big deal, but a 6 o'clock meeting is okay. I slightly prefer a 6:30 meeting. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Okay, Leah, roll call please on this.
Okay. Councilman Scaringi?
I'll call the question. Aye.
Thank you, Council.
Councilwoman Resnetti?
Aye.
Councilwoman Riley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Friedman?
Nay.
Councilman Burns?
Nay.
Councilman Strawn?
Aye.
President Scanlon?
Aye.
That's 5 ayes, 2 nays. The 2 nays were Friedman and Burns.
Okay, on to communications from council members. Tonight we start with Councilman Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm always taken by surprise with the comments at the end. It's Thanksgiving. I have a lot of things to be thankful for, a lot of personal things. But I happened to catch Councilwoman Riley on the radio yesterday, and I liked what she said about 2020, that she quoted from Christmas Carol. I think it was the worst of times and the best of times. And so, our country and our city, our country went through a lot, and but we have a lot to be grateful for as well. And our city is suffering from the pandemic, financially, and as well as people hurting. The city's hurting financially, but people's families are hurting. The food banks and all that sort of stuff are busier than they have been. So I'm hoping that we can do our best to help everybody out. It's in giving that we receive, and I believe that. And I just want to, I know that I also heard on Bob Joseph, there's 2 students, I think it was this morning, from the high school, and the high school has the dinner every year, and this year they're not doing it. But if anybody's out there listening, they are supplying the meals for everybody. You can pick up, or you can come and get it. And they actually, if you call the high school, they're actually having buses leave from different areas. I didn't take notes, but you can call the high school and you can actually get transportation to go pick up your turkey dinner. So I think these kids are fabulous for doing this every year. Anyway, that's enough out of me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councilman. On to Councilman Scringy, please.
Oh, I thought Councilman Strong was next. My apologies. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. On to Councilwoman Restinetti, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that, as Councilman Burns said, we have gone through a lot, and we are still going through a lot, and as a community and as a nation. And but in the end, we do have a whole lot to be very thankful for. And I'm certainly very thankful on, on a personal level, but also very thankful to have the privilege to be working with you guys, my colleagues, to be doing the work that we're doing. And I want us all to I just wanted to, I guess, remind everybody to be kind and to be giving as we're approaching the holidays, because it can be such difficult times for folks for different reasons. And I also wanted to remind everyone that the state office building, county office building, and city hall are still collecting donations for chow. And I believe that's going on until the 20th. There are other locations throughout our community, but definitely wanted to remind you about that. And with that, I hope I wish everybody a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilwoman Riley, please.
Thank you, President Scanlon. I'll echo the sentiments of my fellow colleagues that have gone before me. I did mention the tale of two cities on Bob Joseph, and I quoted, he said, what would I say? It has been the best of times and the worst of times. However, what encourages me is the continued neighbor helping neighbor. We're reaching out, we're lending a hand. Literally, there was a mutual share on the north side, and it was a line to drop off items for the event. So unfortunately, there is need, but fortunately, people are able to give and support one another. So I want to highlight a few things for those that may be interested. Of course, 85 Walnut, every Saturday there is the BFR delivering food. There's also clothing there for anyone that may be in need. I'm also, with my team, we're giving away winter coats. And again, the need has been great. Not only have I received needs, but I've received offers to also support those that may not be in District 3 in terms of giving coats as well. So I thank my neighbors and friends, and we're going to do this. We don't want anyone without a coat. I also want to highlight that it is flu season. Being a pharmacist, I must encourage everyone to go out and get vaccinated. We have centers all over. And if you are interested, if you go to vaccinefinder.org, you can find the center that is in close proximity to you. We know that if you contract the flu, it will decrease your resistance, increase the burden on the healthcare system, and increase your risk of COVID contraction. So we do want to minimize that risk at all costs. And finally, again, this is Thanksgiving. I am thankful for the opportunities I've had. I'm thankful for all of you who listen and remain engaged. We fight to do our best to give you every piece of information we have. And if it's something we're missing, just drop us an email and we'll do our best to get it back to you. So happy holidays, because I don't think we'll see each other. Councilman Burns did my wrap up on the high school event. Thank you to Mr. Giannini and the Honor Society, the parents, the principals, the administrators that are going to be volunteering, because again, of COVID risk, all of us can't volunteer as we would want to do. But again, supporting that effort, getting the food out to those that are in need. Please call the high school if you want further information. And that concludes my brief report. Good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilwoman Friedman, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo a lot of what my fellow council members said. This has been a tough time. I don't know about you all. I find myself vacillating between thriving and sometimes really falling victim to the struggles of what it means to work in times like these, where, you know, even in our meetings, it's totally different to be sitting at home at my computer desk versus being in the same room as everyone. So it's been hard, but I think that we will pull through. We are seeing a lower COVID rate in Broome County now. We just exited the yellow zone, so that's encouraging. Also, speaking of COVID, if people are struggling with rent or mortgage or utility payments due to COVID, please, please, please call 211 to apply for relief. There is a lot of money available to help people with their rent, mortgage, and utilities. So if you call 211, they can help you out to get started. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. There's a lot to be thankful for. I hope that everyone is able to celebrate Thanksgiving in a safe and meaningful way. I also think it's important with any holiday like Thanksgiving to acknowledge not only the present day celebrations of it, but the history of Thanksgiving as well, and acknowledge that we are on Onondaga land. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Councilwoman. On to Councilman Strawn, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to briefly, concur with everything that's been said. I'm thankful for all of you to work with you. It's been a tough year, but we've pushed through. A lot of us being new, and I think we've done well. And as Councilwoman Friedman said, it's been a little difficult, kind of being remote for so long. But I think we've weathered the storm. I'm personally thankful to be regaining my health, and I'm not going to say, how many people you should or shouldn't have at your Thanksgiving dinner next week, but I just hope that you stay safe, and we have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to work on, a lot to plow through going into 2021, but we do have a lot to feel thankful for. I think Binghamton looks great driving through downtown for the most part. I'm thankful for the hard work of all of our colleagues at the city, in public works and code and the police and fire, and everybody down at City Hall that does go in on a daily basis to keep things running and push through this challenges that we've had. So I'm thankful for all that, and thankful for all of our people we've had a lot of feedback in these last number of meetings from our constituents and our people, and I think that's a good thing. And maybe that's one good thing, that the people felt like they can call in and figure out how to do that, and maybe they wouldn't have come down, but they were able to call in. So maybe that's one positive thing that's come out of this. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Councilman. I'd like to reiterate everybody else said. There's a lot to be thankful for. Obviously, it's trying times, no doubt. We will get through them, and we'll push through them. I'm most thankful for the Binghamton Police Department. I've had a couple incidents in my district in the past 2 nights. And of course, I'm in bed at these times when these things happen, but it's comforting knowing that the men and women of the Binghamton Police Department are out there keeping us safe. In times when they don't hear everything they should as far as support, they have the vast majority of the city's residents support the Binghamton Police Department. I certainly do. I thank a police officer when I see him, and I encourage everybody on council to do the same thing. They're out there protecting us, and thank God for them. And I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good week,
everybody.
Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Good night.